Welcome to tutorial number 4 for Fusion 360, and we're covering the basics here. In our last tutorial, which was number 3, we created a sketch that looked just like this rectangle, so it was 1 inch wide, okay, and 2 inches long, and then we extruded it to 3 inches tall, right? So we created a rectangular prism or rectangular box that's 1 inch thick, 2 inches wide, and 3 inches long or 3 inches tall. What we need to do now is we need to cut a hole through this face, and that's a simple operation to do. Once we're ready, we're going to go back up here to the top left corner. You're going to notice I say top left corner a lot. That's where the important things are held. We're going to choose Create Sketch again, and it's asking me which one I want to use. You could use your rhombuses here to start, but we actually want to select a face. So I'm going to choose the large face, the one that's 2 inches wide and 3 inches tall. Click once, and it will turn flat again. Essentially what it's going to let us do is we're going to draw technically anywhere on this, but we're going to draw on the face of this object. Okay. Now, Fusion's convenient because it has some extra features. We can put construction lines. So this sketch palette pops up whenever you're in sketch mode. And notice that it says construction right here. We're going to click on that icon. And now, instead of drawing solid lines, it's going to draw dashed lines. And Fusion understands those to be things that are used for layout, but not an actual shape. And you'll see what I mean in a minute. We're going to go over here to the top left in our Create tab and choose the Line tool. And now I'm going to show you how to use snaps. So snaps are like little magnets that the computer understands to be places where you probably want to place a point or a circle or something. And when I get to my top left corner, you're going to see a little blue box pop up. Now it's snapped right to that corner. That's exactly on that intersection. I'm going to click one time, and then I'm going to drag my line down to the bottom right corner. And I'm going to wait till I see a little blue box again, right there. That's snapped to that bottom intersection. And when I click, this diagonal line runs exactly from this corner to this corner, okay? The computer can do it more precisely than you can, so use those snaps to your advantage. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off construction line. We'll move that palette out of the way. And I'm going to go up here and choose center diameter circle. This is the most common type of circle you're probably going to use. If I use the Create tab, there are other types of circles in here, okay? But we want to use center diameter circle. Now we're going to use the snaps to our advantage again. I want this circle to be exactly in the center of this rectangle. And if you know a little bit about geometry and using the snaps that the computer has for us, if I find the midpoint of this diagonal line, so notice I'm moving along it. Oops, let's try that again. Moving along it. When you see the blue triangle right there, that's the midpoint of that line. If I click, now my circle is exactly in the center, right? It's perfectly centered. And just like everything else, I can try and drag it to the size I want, or let's be smart and let's type it in. I need this hole to be exactly 5/8 of an inch or 0.625. And then you can hit return or enter. And you'll notice that Fusion understands that there is a rectangle with a circle in it or a circle, okay? The next thing we want to do, and you actually don't need to do this because this is a construction line, but this is a great time for us to learn how to delete things if we make a mistake or want to take something out. If you're still stuck in a tool, so let's pretend I still had my circle tool in here, I can't click on things with that. Just hit your escape key. It'll release it. Now you have your mouse back. You can left click, okay, so the regular mouse button, you can click on the line. That'll highlight it, and then you can use your delete key on your keyboard. Don't confuse this with backspace if you're using Windows. You have to use delete, and you'll delete your line. Your undo button is your left turn arrow right up here towards the top left. So I brought it back. Now I can also right click, and I'll get this clock menu. And in this clock menu, we're going to choose delete, and now we've removed our line. At this point, you can go up to the top right and choose finish sketch, your big green check mark.